Here we are at Obscenic Arts Studios in Dillsburg, Pennsylvania, the center of the universe. We're presently working on the new Red Dragon Cartel record called Patina. And it all started when we got off the road. We did some shows in Japan. Then we all sort of came here to the ranch and started hashing out Jake's ideas in a room as a band. We just got together and started jamming on it, and they progressed and the ideas progressed, and we wrote for about probably 14 weeks, getting the songs to where Jake was happy and they were what was going on in Jake's head and trying to capture what Jake was feeling and where his head was at and his vibe at the moment. So all those parts sort of morphed into what he was envisioning. And then we started the recording process. Phil Verone from Saigon Kick and Skid Row, and a great drummer, came in at the end of the writing process and laid down some amazing drum tracks. And then once the drum tracks were laid down, then I got to lay down my bass parts. And then we began the journey of guitars. Jake has a multitude of vintage guitars and vintage heads and vintage pedals that we're going through in every part of every song, finding the right blend, which guitar with which head with which pedal to maximize each section sonically, like I said, what's going on in his head. And we're about halfway through guitars right now. And then once we're done with guitars, Darren Smith, the singer in the band, will come down from Toronto and do his thing, lay down his vocals, and then it's off to Max Norman, who's going to mix the whole journey for us, and we're so excited, so every step of the way. As a co-producer with Jake, and as a bass player for Jake, if I were to kind of put my 2 cents in to Jake when it comes as far as song selection and stuff, the songs that are the most honest, the songs that are the most natural, the ones that come, I hate to say easiest, but they just sort of form themselves, are usually the most natural. And that's, when you make a CD, it's sort of taking a photograph of your life at that moment. And the easier songs come together and the more organically they happen, is the more honest of a picture at that moment that it is. And they have this element that you really don't hear, you kind of feel it in the finished product, you kind of feel it in the track. And like when we were jamming as a band, when he comes up with a lick that's just like, you just get tingles and jaw drops, and you're like, fuck, those are the songs. And you want to try to put as many of those moments on a CD as possible.